Okay, welcome to Fix It with Jeff. Today we're going to be working on our Cadillac DeVille, 2001 Cadillac DeVille. Today we're going to be changing out our struts. We're also going to be changing out our wheel hubs, and we're going to change out our axle. We're only going to change out the driver's side axle. That's the one I'm having issue with, as the boot's coming off of the existing one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and get our lug nuts loosened while we're sitting on the ground, and then we'll jack it up and get the tires off, and we'll show you what we're going to be working on today. So we're taking it for a test drive before we do the front hubs and front struts. So I don't know if you can hear that sound, but it sounds like a loud whining, grinding noise. That's because we have a bad wheel hub, and from the way I feel it, it's on the driver's side. Passenger side feels like it's okay, but we're going to be changing both the passenger and driver's side front wheel hubs as well as the front struts to complete our suspension that we did. We did our back ones, and it feels really good in the back. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and loosen our lug nuts and our axle socket. The axle socket size for this car is a 34 millimeter. I got this off of Amazon. So we're gonna go ahead, that fits on there. We'll go ahead and break that off. Okay, so we got our wheels off. We are going to be taking off, obviously we're gonna take off the rotor. We're gonna take off the caliper bracket. And that should be 15 millimeter socket. Okay, so we took our brake rotor off, we got our caliper off, we have it supported. We took off our two brackets here, one that holds the ABS sensor wire that's going to the wheel hub, and this one is for the brake line that connects directly to the strut. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our ABS sensor off of here. We're going to finish taking out the nut for the axle. And then we have 3 bolts on the wheel hub, one here, and one over here that we have to access from the back. I think also that's 15 millimeter. But for now, let's get this off and then we'll disconnect it. Okay, so our wheel hub was pretty easy to get out. It wasn't stuck, but as you can see, it's in pretty bad shape. Or I mean, our axle. Now we're gonna get our actual wheel hub assembly off. We disconnected our ABS line. That was no problem. So now we'll go ahead and get the wheel hub off, and then we're gonna disconnect these 2 strut bolts, so we can kind of swing the control arm out to get the axle out. Okay, so we got our bolts out for our wheel hub. Now we're going to try to get this off. We'll just give this a couple taps. It's already coming loose. Okay, and there goes our wheel hub. All right, so now we're going to get the axle out too. Notice the position of this. That bracket was up there, so this will go on like that when we put this back on. So we got to get that axle out the way so we can get the rest of this out, and we'll go from there. Okay, what you also want to do is when you loosen these strut bolts, you want to make sure you get a mark on here so you know where the strut landed. This is just for alignment purposes. So we're gonna go ahead and make a mark there on that side, and then we'll make a mark on the other side. Okay, that should be good. So we should be able to get a crowbar in here and wiggle this out.
Okay, there we go. So we got that out. Now we could go ahead and try to get our axle out and clean this up a little bit. And we'll then try to put the strut, figure out what to do with the brake caliper so we could get the strut out. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop the axle out. And I have what's here, an axle fork. So you should be able to get it in there somehow and pry it out. There's a little C-clip that holds that in. Pry it out and we should be able to pop the axle out. We might lose a little bit of transmission fluid doing this. So just make sure you got some transmission fluid. And we'll go ahead and get this out and we'll be back. Okay, we got our axle out. Wasn't too hard. Couldn't end up using the axle fork, so I had to use my pry bars to just worked it in there and it came right out. So we got everything out. We're gonna re-support our caliper somewhere else so we could go ahead and get the strut the rest of the way out. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we're gonna loosen the rest of the strut, and that's from up on top here. We have 3 15mm bolts that hold in the strut. So we'll go ahead and pull that out. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pop our axle in. We're gonna get some grease and put it in the axle here. Okay, so we want to make sure that that stays in there. So we're going to go ahead and give it a little tap. See some pull on it, make sure it doesn't come out. Okay, we got that in there. So now we'll go ahead and get it in the knuckle here. Okay, so we got that in there now. Okay, so now we're gonna put a little bit of thread lock on here. And then we're gonna go ahead and torque this down to 108 foot-pounds. I torque this down to 108 foot-pounds. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and get our wheel hub, pop that on. So first is we want to get a little grease, put some grease in here. Okay, so we should have that on right now. We'll go ahead, put our axle nut on. Same thing, we get a little bit of Loctite on these, and these go down to 96 foot-pounds. Pretty good. We put our caliper bracket back on. That's torqued down to 63 foot-pounds. You have your strut bracket that's torqued down to 108 foot-pounds. Then you have your hub assembly that's torqued down to 93 foot-pounds. Our axle, we're going to torque that down to 118, and we'll get the other side done and we'll be done. Okay, so now we're taking it for a test drive. The growling seems to have went away. I am hearing a clicking, not specifically right now, but mainly when I turn to the right, there's a clicking noise. See if we can make it sound. Clicking noise when I turn to the right. Gotta figure out where that's coming from. But the growling has went away. Ride's really nice other than that clicking, so figure out what that clicking is. Make sure you like and subscribe. Till next time, fix it with Jeff.